again YouTube, welcome back to my channel, and this video is going to be all about why you are not losing weight. So a lot of the time when I have either clients come to me or online clients, we sit down, we have our initial chat, consultation, whatever you want to call it, and something that I hear all the time, especially from women, is that they just can't lose weight. They're trying everything and they just don't lose any weight for whatever reason. They're not losing the weight. So I wanted to address this issue on here because you are the problem. There's no reason as to why you can't lose weight. Some women think, oh, I'm just meant to be fat, like I'm built this way, and that is just not true. Like, to a certain extent, we all have a different body shape, we all have a different way of holding our body weight, but you are not meant to be a size 18, 20 and overweight. No one is born like that, unfortunately. There is something you can do about it, and that's what we're going to be going through. The scenario I get a lot from ladies is, let's just say they're training, so they're training 1 to 2 times a week, they're tracking their calories, and they're sort of making a conscious effort to eat better. So if you've listened to that scenario and think that is you, and you're like, yeah, that's what I'm doing, but I'm still not losing the weight, I don't understand why. Let me tell you why. It's because you're not doing those 3 things right, and I will go into more detail about that all now. So the 2 main areas are obviously your training and your nutrition. When it comes to training, and you say you're training 1 to 2 times a week, you can see results if you're training 1 to 2 times a week, but what you've got to take into consideration is all your activities outside of those 2 training sessions. So that is one thing you need to consider. If you're training 2 times a week for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever, but you sit on your ass all day, you have a desk job, your 1 to 2 sessions a week are really not counting for anything if your daily activity and your weekly activity is pretty shite. Another thing you can be doing wrong in your training is you're not training long enough. Doing the right exercises, the right amount of weight, reps and sets. So I cover all of this in a guide that I have just finished creating for you all, and so that will be available on my website when the website is up. So I will cover all of that on here, but let's just briefly go through it all in this YouTube video. If your sessions are lasting 30 minutes to an hour, but in that time you have done 20 minutes on a cross trainer at a pretty poor speed, and you have managed to do 3 different exercises. Let's just say you've done squats, you've used a leg press, and you've done some planks and kettlebell swings in the free weight area. Does that really sound like a properly designed exercise program? No, unfortunately it isn't, for a few reasons. There is not enough exercises. It doesn't matter if you've been in there for an hour, it's what you're doing in that hour that matters. Don't get caught up on the time you're in the gym. Think about how many exercises you're doing within that time. On top of not doing enough exercises and not doing the right exercises, you may not be doing enough reps and sets either. Let's just say you're lifting a really light weight and you're doing 15-20 reps on an exercise, but it doesn't really feel hard. Then again, you're not challenging yourself. Your sessions need to be hard. They need to be a challenge. I'm not talking about you need to be throwing up and fainting in your sessions, but it does need to be challenging, and you have to look to progress your weights within your sessions to keep improving. Another thing you have to consider with your training is, are you even performing the exercises right? Because if you're doing a squat which is wrong, you're not going to get the benefits of that exercise because you are doing it wrong. So they're the main things you need to consider what can go wrong with your training. The fact that you're not in there for long enough, and you're not doing enough exercises, you're not using the correct weights, you're doing the exercises wrong, and your outdoor activity between those sessions is just pretty poor. All of these factors above will dramatically affect your weight loss and your results. So what I want to do now is address a few of these and just go through ways on how you can improve these certain areas of your training. One thing you could do that would address all the issues when it comes to what exercises you're doing, if you're doing the exercises right, the reps and the sets, and just general how to structure your exercises and your workouts in the gym is to get yourself some coaching, or to get someone to show you what to do. So if you go to a commercial gym, you go to the gym or whatever, there will be fitness instructors and there will be personal trainers around there to help you. Like, that is their job. Don't feel afraid to go and ask them to show you how to squat properly. Only thing I would say about that is there is a lot of rubbish PTs out there, so maybe try and do your research a little bit, have a little look around, maybe talk to management and see which PT is going to be good. But yeah, it's really frustrating because obviously you don't know what you're looking for. A personal trainer could be showing you a squat wrong and you wouldn't even know. So even then you've got to be pretty careful, but you've always got the option to ask them to show you what to do and show you how to structure your workouts a little bit. And at the end of the day, they want to secure a client, so if you're showing interest in them, they're gonna want to try and impress you, and they're gonna want to help you to bring you in to their service, which is fine because they're offering you a service that is going to help you and provide you value and information. So yeah, don't feel afraid to ask a personal trainer or a fitness instructor to give you a little bit of help. You can also look at YouTube videos. Again, you have got to be careful who you're looking at, but if you were to Google how to do a squat, 9 times out of 10 the top results are going to be people who know what they're doing, and they're going to go through how to squat with you. So you've got that on offer as well, and I would really utilize that. Don't just go in there and think, oh, I know how to squat, because you may not. Make sure you're doing it right, because otherwise, again, you're just going to be wasting your time, your energy and your money on a gym membership, which you're not going to get anything out of. So that was my point number 1, is to get some training, get some coaching in order to learn how to train yourself, and these skills and that knowledge will go along with you on your fitness journey. As you get more confident, you're going to learn more and you're going to gain a hell of a lot more from your sessions. So it is a little bit of a initial investment, but I can tell you it is 100% worth it. Number 2 is to look a little bit at your outdoor activity. So if you have a desk job and you sit on your ass for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, let's just say you train 3 times a week or whatever, and then on the weekends you spend it sleeping and lazing around because you're tired from work or whatever, those 3 sessions you're doing really aren't counting to a lot. I don't think people understand it's not really the sessions that are making the difference, it's all the outside changes you're making, like your physical activity levels and your nutrition as well, which we'll go into in a minute. But really have a look at your outside activity. If you've got like a Fitbit or even like iPhones, they have a health app, which I will show you if you want to see it. Right, so the last time I used it was in June, so it's just popped up with June, but it can calculate my steps to some degree. These aren't very accurate, aren't as accurate as a Fitbit per se, but it's better than nothing. If you can keep your phone on you as much as possible and try to get a more accurate reading of your steps, then that is gonna really help. But to be honest, you can pick up some Fitbits or like step counter things pretty cheap, so I would suggest possibly looking at that. And then yeah, track your steps for a week, see what you're roughly doing. A lot of people are really surprised the amount of steps that they are not doing. You may think that you have a physical job, and I have a lot of clients who are nurses. I remember one nurse before we started, she thought she was doing about 15,000 steps a day. Turns out she's averaging about 9, which is still good, but that's what, like 6,000 off what she thought. So you always tend to overestimate what you're doing and underestimate what you're not doing. So steps and outdoor activity are key. So moving on to the training part, we are going to talk about nutrition. Most people's major fall purely because they just don't know how to eat to lose weight, which is actually very simple. You just need to be in a calorie deficit, so you need to be eating less calories than what you are burning off. So again, the scenario is that you're someone who's training and you're watching your food and you're tracking your calories, but you're still not losing the weight. What I would suggest is you aren't tracking your calories right. It's very easy to forget about those 2 biscuits you had round your nans when you popped in for a cup of tea on the way home from work, or that Starbucks coffee that your friend just bought in randomly. as a very nice gesture. I mean, I'm not going to turn away a Starbucks coffee, but you have to take into consideration the amount of calories that has in it. It's actually very surprising as well. If you have a little look online, Costa, Starbucks, any coffee shop, all the calories are on there, and some of them are quite horrific. You may think, oh, I haven't really eaten all day today, I've been really good, but you had a vanilla hot chocolate with squirty cream and marshmallows with your apple for breakfast, and that was about 500 calories, so you've had pretty much a full English breakfast in a sweet warm drink, which I love a Starbucks drink, but hey ho, let's not get into Starbucks now because I really fancy a coffee. So what you've got to consider is sometimes it's about eating less as opposed to eating better. I think a lot of people, when it comes to losing weight, they think, right, okay, let's just say they have a really poor diet and they eat takeaway 3 times a week and they buy a sandwich and a pack of crisps for lunch every day and they have a massive dinner when they're home. They often go from that to thinking, right, okay, I'm gonna have oats and banana for breakfast, I'm then gonna have an avocado, goat cheese and walnut salad for lunch, and then gonna have nuts as a snack with fruit and all of that, and then for dinner I'm gonna have salmon with potatoes and veg and whatever. And that is all really healthy stuff, but if you listen to what food you're consuming, the nuts, the cheese, the salmon, all of that is very high in fat, which fat isn't bad, but it is very high in calories, the avocado, all of that. So you may have gone to eating less calories in junk food to eating more calories in good food, which is still going to cause your weight to come up because you're in a calorie surplus. So the main thing is calories. Less calories in, the weight comes down. So I'm not saying don't eat healthy, 100% eat healthy, but enjoy a balanced. If you go through 5 chocolate bars a week, try and go through 2, if that makes sense. I hope it doesn't sound like I'm trying to be like, eat as much chocolate as you want, because I'm not. Eating healthy is very important for your weight loss, for your hormones, for your bodily functions, for everything. But sometimes it is about eating less rather than better. If you're eating all the good stuff, but you're still eating too much of it, you are going to gain weight. Another flaw I find with people when it comes to being a tracker is they track Monday to Friday, weekend rolls around and the tracking goes out the window. They've stuck to 100 calories, definitely didn't stick to that, 1,000 calories every day for the 5 days, but then Friday night rolls around and they get a pizza with the girls, they go for a couple bottles of Prosecco, they then go out, they go to cocktail bar, get a kebab on the way home, and then Saturday morning you wake up, you have a fry up, you lay in bed all day, you don't really give a shit about your food, you're just eating what you want, you're drinking Coca-Cola for the hangover, and you've racked up a massive amount of calories in just a 2-3 day period, more calories than what you have consumed in the week. So if you are going to track, you have to track properly. Another reason why you're potentially not seeing results while you are tracking is you're not tracking things like alcohol and drinks. Like I said earlier with the coffee, if you have 3 coffees a day, which all have milk and sugar or syrups or whatever, that is still calories. They don't not have calories in. You have to take that into consideration and make sure you're tracking them. Same as if you were going out for meals, drinks or whatever. People forget that alcohol has calories in. Alcohol has 7 calories per gram. So that is a lot more calorific than say carbs and protein. Not as calorific as fat, which has 9 calories per gram, but still very easy. 5 porn star martinis in can be McDonald's breakfast or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So don't forget alcohol and calories does count, unfortunately. Another big thing which can affect your weight loss if you are tracking is when you are eating out. So there is a lot of restaurants now that are on MyFitnessPal and that you can track to a certain extent, because even with an app, it's only going to give you a rounded number. You've got to think, if you're having a portion of chips in Nando's, I've had times where I've gone to Nando's and my portions of chips have been massive. And there are times when it's been absolutely tiny. So portion sizes will vary in restaurants. So even though your meal may come up on MyFitnessPal as a prezzo linguine or whatever, let's just say that's what you had, and it says 600 odd calories, it could literally be anything. That's just a guesstimate on a portion size. Maybe the chef's feeling very generous today and has given you massive portion sizes. Again, that could rack up your calories by double. It's really easy. So if you're eating out 1 to 2 times a week and you're tracking it, you've still got to remember it's not going to be very accurate, and you may still be consuming a lot more calories than what you think. So if you are eating out, try and eat things are less likely to have like sneaky calories in through sauces, cheeses, oils, stuff like that. By all means, enjoy your meal out. If you've got a busy week and you're eating out 2-3 times, you have to take that into consideration and sort of be a bit smart about it. So the main thing to take away from if you are tracking calories and macros is to make sure you're doing it right. If you are going to use the app, you need to use it 7 days a week and just be honest with yourself and be consistent. If you're not losing weight, you are the problem and you are also the solution. You need to adjust and address the training, the nutrition and everything. I'd say the best thing to do if you are really struggling and you haven't seen results in, say, you should see results straight away really. If you're doing it right, you should see some weight loss within a couple weeks, whether that's a kilo or a couple pounds. You want to know that you're progressing and you're on the right track. So if you've started a diet or started a training regime and you're not seeing the results you want, just get yourself some help. I am always here to offer support and help. If you follow me on Instagram, please feel free to message me. I'm not a bitch. I'm not going to charge you for a little chat. If you want to chat, I am more than happy to help. So that concludes my second YouTube video about why you are not losing weight. I hope this clears up some of the grey areas and the questions you may have about potentially why you aren't losing weight. Remember, I am here to help. There are a lot of resources out there. A lot of them can be very biased and very wrong and very detrimental to people's mental and physical health. So just make sure the information you'll get is from reliable sources, people you can trust and people that actually know what they're talking about. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. There is plenty more to come. I hope you're enjoying this YouTube channel. I am very much enjoying filming these. Again, if you don't follow my Instagram, please follow it as JamieParker_fitness for more about me, my clients, what I can do to help you. And until next time, I will see you then.